You have to be obsessed. Not interested. Not motivated. Not pretty serious about it. Obsessed. Because here is the truth nobody wants to tell you. The life you want is not being held by a stranger. It is not locked away in some vault that only lucky people can open. It is being held by you, your own hands, your own choices, your own hours. And most people never get it, not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they never wanted it enough to become obsessed with it. Let that sit for a second. Most people don't fail because the world was too hard on them. They fail because they never crossed the line from wanting something to needing it. They like the idea of a better life. They like the idea of a stronger body, a bigger business, a deeper relationship, a freer future. But liking an idea and being obsessed with the outcome are two completely different worlds. One lives in daydreams. The other lives in daily action. So ask yourself, right now, honestly, what do you actually want? Not what sounds good when you say it out loud to impress someone. Not what you post about but never chase. What do you actually want? Deep down, the thing that keeps showing up in your mind even when you try to ignore it. Now ask yourself something harder. Are you obsessed with it? Or are you just hoping for it? Because hope is passive. Hope waits. Hope wishes. Obsession moves. Obsession wakes up early without an alarm. Obsession thinks about the goal, in the shower, in traffic, before sleep. Obsession doesn't need motivation, because it has something stronger driving it from the inside. Most people are addicted to comfort and call it patience. They say, I'm waiting for the right time. They say, I'll start when things settle down. They say, one day I'll really go for it. One day. That phrase has buried more dreams than failure ever has. One day is not a day on the calendar. One day is the day you finally decide. Today matters more than your excuses. Here is the hard truth. You will never feel fully ready. You will never have perfect conditions. You will never wake up one morning with unlimited time, unlimited energy, and zero fear. If you are waiting for that morning, you will wait your whole life. The people who actually build something different for themselves did not wait for the perfect moment. They became obsessed with their goal, and that obsession pulled them forward even when the moment was far from perfect. Think about someone you know, or maybe someone you've heard about, who built something remarkable. A business from nothing. A body transformed after years of struggle. A skill so sharp, it looks like magic to everyone watching. You look at them and think, they're just built different. No, they are not built different. They are focused different. Somewhere along the way, they stopped treating their goal like a hobby and started treating it like oxygen. And when something becomes oxygen to you, you don't need anyone to remind you to breathe. That is what obsession really is. It is not chaos. It is not burnout. It is not madness. Obsession is simply refusing to let your goal become optional. Let's talk about the relatable struggle, because I know exactly where you might be right now. You've tried before. You've started the diet, the business, the workout plan, the course, the new habit. You were excited for the first few days, maybe even the first few weeks. And then life happened. Work got busy. Motivation faded. Doubt crept in. And slowly, quietly, you slid back into the same patterns you swore you'd leave behind. That's not because you're weak. That's because you were relying on motivation instead of obsession. Motivation is a spark. It's beautiful, but it's temporary. It shows up when you're inspired and disappears the moment things get boring or difficult. Obsession is different. Obsession doesn't ask how you feel today. Obsession says, we're doing this anyway. Have you ever noticed how some people never seem to fall off? They keep showing up week after week, year after year, quietly building, while everyone else starts and stops. That consistency isn't luck. It isn't some rare gene. It's obsession, working in the background, making the choice before their feelings even get a vote. Now here is where we go deeper, because understanding this idea on the surface isn't enough. You have to understand why obsession changes everything. When you are only mildly interested in something, every obstacle becomes a reason to quit. A bad day becomes proof that it's not working. Criticism becomes proof that you're not good enough. Slow progress becomes proof that this isn't for you. Mild interest looks for exits. It's always scanning the room for a reason to leave. But obsession sees the exact same obstacles differently. A bad day becomes information, not identity. Criticism becomes fuel, not failure. Slow progress becomes proof that you're building something real, because anything easy to get is usually easy to lose. Obsession doesn't look for exits. It looks for another way through. This is the difference between people who talk about change and people who actually become someone new. It's not intelligence. It's not connections. It's not even talent, though talent helps. It's obsession multiplied by time. Because ordinary effort, repeated with extraordinary focus, becomes something the world eventually has to notice. Let's bring this closer to your actual life, because none of this means anything if it stays abstract. Think about the body you want. You know exactly what it takes. Eat with intention. Move your body most days. Sleep like it actually matters. None of this is a mystery. There is no secret formula hidden from you. So if you already know what to do, why haven't you done it consistently? Because you haven't become obsessed with becoming that version of yourself. You've been interested. You've dabbled. You've tried for 2 weeks and quit in week 3. Obsession would have kept you there in week 3, week 13, and week 30, not because it was easy, but because you had already decided this wasn't optional anymore. Think about the business or career you want. You know you need to learn the skill, reach out to the people, put in the work nobody sees, show up even when there's no applause. But most days, you choose comfort instead. You choose scrolling instead of learning. You choose staying quiet instead of putting yourself out there. And each time you choose comfort over growth, you are quietly voting for the same life you already have. Think about the relationships you want. Deep ones, honest ones, the kind where people actually know you and still choose to stay. You know that takes presence, vulnerability, consistency, showing up even when it's uncomfortable to be truly seen. But it's easier to hide behind screens, behind jokes, behind busyness. Obsession with real connection means choosing honesty even when silence feels safer. Do you see the pattern yet? In every area of life, the path is rarely hidden. What's missing is the obsession to walk it daily, especially on the days it feels pointless. Now let's talk about personal responsibility, because this is where most people quietly check out. It's easier to blame circumstances. Blame your upbringing. Blame the economy. Blame the people around you who don't understand your vision. Blame timing, luck, and everyone except the one person actually holding the pen to your story. Here is something that will either free you or offend you, depending on how honest you're willing to be right now. Your current life is the direct result of your current level of obsession. Not your intelligence, not your background, your level of obsession. If your health is where you left it, it's because you were never truly obsessed with changing it. If your finances are stuck, it's because you were never truly obsessed with fixing them. If your skills haven't grown, it's because comfort has been louder than your goals. This isn't meant to shame you. It's meant to hand you back the power you've been giving away to excuses. Because if your choices got you here, your choices can get you somewhere else. That is not a punishment. That is the best news you'll hear all week. It means nothing outside of you gets the final vote. You do. Responsibility means you stop waiting for permission. You stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. You stop waiting for the right time and start treating today like the only time you actually have control over. Because it is. Let's look at real life. Because principles without examples are just noise. Think about the person who wants to write a book. They talk about it for years. I have a story in me. One day I'll write it. Meanwhile, someone else with the exact same amount of talent, maybe even less, sits down every single day and writes 1 page. Just 1 page. It feels small. It feels almost embarrassing to call that progress. But 1 page a day is 365 pages a year. That's not a page. That's a book. The difference wasn't talent. It was obsession translated into a daily, unglamorous habit. Think about someone building a business from nothing. In the beginning, there's no proof it will work. No guarantee. Just long hours, small wins, and 100 reasons to quit. The people who make it are not the ones who never doubted themselves. They doubted themselves plenty, but their obsession with the outcome was louder than their doubt about the process. They kept showing up on the days it made no sense to keep showing up. That's the part nobody puts in the highlight reel. The unglamorous middle, where obsession is the only thing keeping the lights on. Think about the athlete who trains before sunrise while the world is still asleep. Nobody's watching, no crowd, no cameras, just them, the work, and the quiet decision to become someone different than they were yesterday. That discipline, repeated in silence, is what eventually gets seen in public. The applause comes later. The obsession comes first. This is the part where we have to talk about discipline and action, because obsession without action is just an intense daydream. Obsession has to move. It has to touch the ground. It has to show up in your calendar, your habits, your hours. Here's something important. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is not about hating yourself into change. Discipline is simply obsession organized into a routine. When you're truly obsessed with something, discipline stops feeling like a cage and starts feeling like devotion. You don't wake up early because you're forcing yourself. You wake up early because that quiet hour belongs to the person you're becoming. But let's be honest about something. Even obsession has hard days. Even the most driven people don't always feel like showing up. The difference is they show up anyway. Feelings are not the boss. Feelings are loud, but they are not in charge. Your commitment is in charge. And commitment means doing the work, especially on the days your feelings vote against you. This is where most people misunderstand obsession. They think obsessed people feel unstoppable every single day. They don't. They feel tired. They feel doubt. They feel the pull toward comfort, just like everyone else. The difference is they've made a decision so deep that feelings no longer get to make the final call. Obsession is a decision that outlasts your mood. So here is a question worth sitting with. What would your life look like if you stopped negotiating with your excuses? What would change if "I don't feel like it" no longer had the power to stop you? Now let's talk about struggle and growth, because this journey is not going to be smooth, and I would be lying to you if I said otherwise. When you decide to become obsessed with a real goal, life doesn't clear a path for you. It tests you. It shows you exactly how much you actually want it. You'll have weeks where nothing seems to move. You'll have moments where the people around you don't understand why you're pushing so hard for something they can't see yet. You'll question yourself. You'll wonder if you're wasting your time. This is normal. This is not a sign you're on the wrong path. This is the exact terrain everyone who ever built something real had to walk through. Struggle is not the enemy of obsession. Struggle is the proof that you're finally doing something that matters. Comfortable paths rarely lead anywhere new. If it's easy, it's probably not changing you. Think of it like this. A muscle doesn't grow because lifting weight feels good in the moment. It grows because the fibers break down under pressure and rebuild themselves stronger. Your character works the exact same way. Every hard day you push through, every moment you choose discipline over comfort, is tearing down the smaller version of you and rebuilding someone stronger in its place. The struggle isn't happening to you. It's happening for you. This is why obsession matters so much. Because mild interest quits the moment struggle shows up. But obsession understands that struggle is simply the entry fee for a life. Most people will never have the patience to build. There will be a moment, and you'll know it when it comes, where you're exhausted, unseen, unsupported, and still choose to keep going. That moment is where ordinary people become someone else entirely. Not because the world suddenly clapped for them, but because they refused to quit in the dark, long before anyone was watching in the light. And slowly, without some dramatic overnight miracle, something starts to shift. This is the part of the journey people love talking about, the transformation. But real transformation rarely feels like a lightning bolt. It feels like a slow sunrise you almost don't notice until you look back and realize how far the sky has changed. One day, you'll catch yourself doing the hard thing without dreading it the way you used to. You'll notice the workout that once felt impossible now feels normal. You'll notice the work that once intimidated you now feels familiar. You'll notice you're not the same person who started this journey doubting every step. That is obsession quietly doing its work, day after day, until the person you are becoming finally becomes the person you are. This transformation is not just external. Yes, your body changes. Yes, your income changes. Yes, your skills sharpen. But the deeper transformation happens inside. You start trusting yourself again. You start believing your word means something. Because you've watched yourself keep promises to yourself, even when no one else was checking. That trust in yourself becomes the foundation for everything else you'll ever build. This is why obsession is not selfish. It's not about ego. It's about becoming someone capable of showing up fully for your life and eventually for the people you love. A tired, uninspired, comfort-addicted version of you cannot give the world your best. But an obsessed, focused, disciplined version of you can build things that outlast you, can inspire people who are quietly watching even when you don't realize it, can become proof to someone else that change really is possible. So let's bring this to the climax, because everything we've talked about points to one single moment. The moment of decision. Right now, today, you have a choice. You can continue being interested in your goals, or you can become obsessed with them. You can keep hoping things will change, or you can start forcing change through daily, disciplined, obsessed action. You can keep waiting for motivation to show up like a rescue, or you can build something stronger than motivation. A commitment that doesn't ask permission from your mood. Understand this. Time is going to pass either way. A year from now is coming whether you grow or not. 5 years from now is coming whether you build the life you want or stay exactly where you are. The only question is whether you'll meet that future as someone who finally got obsessed or someone still waiting for the right time that never actually arrives. You do not need more information. You already know what to do. You've known for a long time. What you need is the obsession to actually do it, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when it's boring, especially when nobody's watching, and no one would blame you for quitting. So decide. Not tomorrow. Not Monday. Not when things calm down. Decide today that you are done being casually interested in the life you want. Decide that from this moment forward, you are obsessed. Obsessed with your growth. Obsessed with your discipline. Obsessed with becoming someone your future self will thank you for. This is your life. Not a rehearsal, not a draft. The only one you get. And it is being shaped right now, in this very moment, by whether you choose comfort or commitment. So here is where I leave you. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for permission that was never anyone else's to give. The goal you keep circling back to in your quiet moments. The one you're almost embarrassed to admit you still want. That goal is waiting on one thing and one thing only. Your obsession, not your talent, not your luck, not your timing. Your obsession. Go become the version of yourself who refuses to let that goal stay a dream. Go become the person who shows up on the hard days, the boring days, the days nobody claps. Go become obsessed, not with perfection, but with progress. Not with overnight success, but with who you're becoming one disciplined day at a time. Because someday, when you look back at this exact moment, you'll either be grateful you finally got serious, or you'll wish you had. Only one of those futures is still fully in your hands. Choose it. Today.